So this is a free preparation for the very powerful full moon that we have tonight on the 17th of October, and also for the workshop dedicated to clearing secret wounding that we collectively carry, and you personally carry as well, most likely, wounding around deceit, manipulation, and exploitation, because this moon brings this particular healing to all of us. So how can you use this time for your highest benefit? So the full moon traditionally would always illuminate things in the dark. So when we have the full moon, if there are no lights on, you still see a lot more in the dark than you usually would. So in your psyche, it would illuminate something you've held there in the shadows that is ready to be revealed. So it's almost like you're turning on the lights and you're seeing the mess in the room, and now you can clean it and clear it. So you're freer in yourself. Also, this is the biggest moon of the year, the Hunter's moon. So it's the closest to the earth, and it has the most effect on all the waters on the planet, on human hormones. And additionally, we have this unusual astronomical phenomena where a phenomenon is where a comet was caught in the moon's atmosphere, and now we have not just one celestial body but two bodies. This comet is quite sizable, pulling at the earth and revealing things to us much stronger. And so this is a really potent time and an opportunity to heal, purify, and release a lot of things for yourself. So what can you do on this particular moon? So what the theme is this month, or seems to be with the majority of people and with myself as well, is a revelation of the pain we collectively and individually carry around being cheated, tricked, manipulated, exploited, lied to. And this has been happening not just in your lifetime, not only in your childhood and your life, but also ancestrally. If you consider historically how the majority of people were being used by a handful of others as though they're mere resources and not equal people to those who were taking from them. And so we have this collective wounding of being exploited, and if we're still carrying it around, we would not trust ourselves as much, because, how did we let this happen? We would not trust other people. What if they're the ones that would take from me? And we don't trust life. It's like, how can life or God or universe permit this to happen? So when we clear this wounding, we feel a lot clearer and more present in reality to actually face it as is and make really potent choices for what would serve us, and not kind of lean into the past and bring this pain forward, like creating new dramatic and parasitic type relationships with other people and organizations. The other benefit you can get from this is that the energy you have been using to keep this kind of suppressed in yourself, in your cells, in your cellular memories, in your ancestral DNA recordings, and from your own life, so you don't kind of feel that pain. That energy actually is being used by you unconsciously, and it could come into your real life, and you could instead use it for something very constructive. So you'll have a lot more energy for healing, for vibrancy, for showing up in the world, for connecting with people. So basically, yay, more energy when you face it and release it. Thirdly, everywhere where you had sort of like a blindfold around this wounding or these kind of toxic bonds that you would have had in your life with some people, or maybe collectively you're still holding, is that it would make us a little bit blind to this happening right now with other people and organizations. So we would be more likely to get tricked into situations and promises where we would be promised the moon and the stars and it just doesn't get delivered, or we would enter a financial scheme and actually they take more from us than end up giving us as well. So, and it also promotes this feeling of helplessness and not quite trusting your intuition, your gut feeling, and even your reasoning, because that wound would send really kind of not coherent signaling through your nervous system, through your energy system, electromagnetic system. So you get more clarity and more discernment in your relationships. And as a fourth point I'll very briefly make is that if you are in relationships where things are being taken from you more than given to you. You get to disentangle from them with a lot more ease, grace, love, softness, and it's just basically easier than having to bring up all that pain and throw it at that person or that organization and, kind of really torture your system through that, or tolerate it, because often when we hide this wound, we actually tolerate more abusive type relationships, seeing only like the good side in people or circumstances, and not really noticing the darker side until it suddenly reveals itself. So maybe this year you would have had these situations where suddenly people you trusted showed you a different side. Certainly that has happened with me. So so this is on what you can get from it. The other very important point I'd like to make before we move into what you can actually practically do for yourself on this day is that whether you're in a female or male body, you would carry a very specific pain that we still collectively carry. And this is the feminine bodies, the women, being used for centuries as resources, as opposed to people who are equal to other people. And this, I mean, it doesn't take a genius to see this. Women would have been used for sexuality, for sex. Women would have been used for love, as in like, this person loves you, and, I don't know, a woman loves someone and gives this person lots of love, and they give her very little love back. Women would have been used for political reasons, to marry off and get some sort of a situation going that is favorable to some person in power. Women would have been used for labor. Women would have been used for many, 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 many reasons, and generally they would have had a status in many societies as lower than males. And so we all carry this collectively and individually in us. And this full moon in particular offers a very potent healing for the grief, and quite possibly you hold anger and rage around this as well, and also fear that this may happen with you again. Now, in your own life, what may have happened here, whether you're a man or a woman, you may have you may have met a person with a more detached, a more masculine approach to life, where they're not integrated with the feminine part of themselves. So they have a very dry and logical approach to taking things, and they're kind of calculating this exchange for both you and them, and not really including you in the process. And that is kind of like hidden agenda that the person would have, even though they most likely are not doing it even consciously. It's just their own wounding showing up. So these type of relationships get to be cleared from your system as well. And if you join our work tonight, we're going to bring all the light power we can through our higher selves, work as a group, work with the light teachers and guidance, work with light codes to really purify and purge you from all the different types of manipulation and deceit. So what can you do before this work tonight, and also by yourself if you're not joining? So you can make a list of all the relationships and situations where you feel you were used, or where you've given a lot and you feel maybe in friendship or private personal relationship you didn't get enough, or maybe you still have that with your parents, or maybe you feel that you've invested somewhere and maybe you were even scammed. So whatever the situation is, or the relationship that is still not okay, not peaceful within you, it would be brilliant for you to recall it and to possibly jot them down. And closer to the full moon, or when it's really full in the sky, and you can look up in your local time when it's the fullest, but really for the whole night it's going to influence this process. Set the intention, and maybe use breath or some other techniques you use for releasing kind of psychological energy, heavy patterns of holding things like that in yourself, so you're not holding on to the past, and purging it out of your system. And so I hope this helps, and I hope you get to really use this full moon to your biggest advantage. And for those who are joining tonight and on Saturday, because this workshop is over 2 days, so that we purge and purify and cleanse your system, and then we really reconnect you more powerfully on Saturday with your genuine, authentic, soulful patterns of thriving and loving and connecting with the world in a very trusting, open, and discerning way, so you're not tricked again. And so if I see you tonight or on Saturday, I'm looking forward to it. And otherwise, enjoy the full moon and the beautiful healing that it's giving us today.